Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Justin Pate, and I'm owner of the Wrap Institute. And this demo that we're doing 7 scheduled demos today. This one is about tools. I love tools, okay? So for me, what's interesting about the wrap industry is it's changed a lot over the years. I started car wrapping in 1996, about 20 years ago. And when I started wrapping, it was really interesting. What did you have for wrapping? I mean, I actually went to Home Depot and kind of got what I got, how I wrapped back in the day, okay? I literally had a propane torch that I had to self-ignite, and I was a smoker back then, so I'd smoke my cigarette, take my lighter, light my torch. That's how I lit my torch. Awesome. And then my buffer, my squeegee, was a female Velcro, and what does that do to the material? Scratches are pretty sweet. But again, this is what you had back in the day. As an installer, you had this setup for wrapping a car. So I wrapped literally 500 cars with this setup. So every time I want to do my torch, I'd flick it on, do it, got my female Velcro, super cool. It is what I had back in the day. And it works, I guess, sort of. It got it on. The job was done. And the knife that I had was a single cartridge knife, all right? And mainly it was metal. So I had a metal knife at the front that I used on cars, all right? So this is my setup: Velcro, metal knife, propane torch that I had light by my hand. So again, can you do it this way? Sure. You can do a lot of stuff. I can wrap it with a credit card and a paper towel too, okay? But again, what's changed about the industry over the time, which I love, is this industry has been expanding a lot. So the tools have changed, and the tools are changing every day, and new tools coming out. So what I want to show are the tools these are a lot of the tools that I use. So the sponsors for this tools are like SOT, Image One Impact, Avery's done a lot of tools, and again, for me, they function, okay? So we'll just start off with basic stuff and work out from there. So first and foremost, you got your squeegees, and you're doing, as an installer today, you're doing floors, you're doing windows, you're doing cars, chrome, all that stuff. So you need lots of different squeegees for different applications. Generally, you want a squeegee that's kind of medium hard. So like right here, we got a green squeegee. This is on the harder side, okay? And this one is a new one that they introduced recently. This is from Pro Tools. It has wing tips, okay? And what's nice about these wing tips is your buffer goes to here, and there's buffers that are made to fit this size. And once you put the buffer on, you can use this side, and what you're gonna use this side is for little nuanced corners and sections that a normal squeegee, like a rounded squeegee like this, can only go so far, but now you got a squeegee that can go a little deeper, a little trickier sections. So again, wingtip squeegees, interesting, all right? So you got medium squeegees. This one's their medium version. The yellow one you can see is a little more flexible, all right? The green one is a little harder, and then they have a red one that's really soft, all right? So you wanna have different hardnesses of your squeegee. That's for one, but you also wanna have different widths, all right? If I'm wrapping a car, I don't want a squeegee any bigger than this. I want about this width. But if I'm wrapping a floor, maybe I wanna go a little bigger, or maybe I want to go super big, super cool, okay? If I use this on a car, it'd be a nightmare, but on a floor or on a wall, if I'm doing a skyscraper, do I want to do this? Absolutely. How many squeegee strokes do I need to cover 3 feet? 3 strokes. How many squeegee strokes do I need to do? Different. So different ball games. Some guys use squeegees literally that are as wide as the material, and that's how they put it on. It's pretty sweet when you get paid $2 a square foot. I like that style, okay? So again, squeegees are very important. For me, the buffer is extremely important on your squeegee. All right, there's different styles of buffers today. What you want is, this is a wet app squeegee, a wet app buffer. So what I can do is, this is like a chamois, and if I spray it with soap and water, it doesn't scratch. So this is really good if I'm doing PPF or I'm wrapping with chrome, all right? But what you want to be aware of is buffers that are too thick when you get to cars. Like this buffer you can see right here is super thick. It's literally like 1/8 of an inch thick, way too thick for cars. So there's different type of buffers. Like one of the most popular buffers in the world, if not the most popular, is the monkey strip. Okay, notice what I do with my buffers, and you always want to be smart about your tools. My buffers are in a sandwich bag, sealed. This means that they stay clean. If I just throw them in my tool bag, dirt builds up on the buffer, and then it scratches what I'm wrapping. Not good. So what I always want to do is replace my buffer before I wrap anything, whether I'm doing a floor, or wall, or window. So you want a buffer that can swap out, all right? So again, different styles of buffers, and they fit for different types of squeegees. Then we get to knives, okay? For me, I'm pretty much adamant that I only use plastic knives when I wrap anything other than, let's say, a concrete floor, all right? Because what I like about this is if I come anywhere near that I'm wrapping anything, I can't damage it, I can't scratch it. If I use a metal knife, if I touch it, it scratches. Whether I'm doing a window frame and my knife comes off, if the knife hits the window frame and it's plastic, no big deal. If it hits it and it's metal, done deal, all right? So again, plastic knife. What I like about this particular knife, and this is from NT Cutter, lots of manufacturers out there, this is a multi-cartridge knife, and it's a snap-off blade. So again, when it gets short, I can pull it out, and I come back down, and I have a fresh blade. This holds 5 blades. Awesome. Okay, so again, the more blades I have, the sharper my blade is, and I can just stay on the job. I don't use X-Actos, I don't use carpet blades and stuff like that. So again, excellent knife. I've been using this for years. And again, a lot of times when you're a wrapper, you're working on a concrete floor, and this used to be gray, and when this hit the floor, it would blend into the floor. So I asked NT Cutter to make it yellow. So then it stands out and it looks kind of cooler than gray. All right, tools got to look good as well. So again, knives. Then when you're cutting the backing paper, when I'm working around a car and I want to make the material smaller, let's say if I want to trim this wheel well, I could use my knife, but there's a chance that I might come in and cut the car. Not good. This is a knife where the blade is actually inside the plastic right here. You can see it. So what it does is I have a holder here, slide it in, nice and easy, straightforward, lock it in, okay? And then I slide it into the plastic mechanism right here, theoretically. Let me flip it around. So I do it here, flip it in, and now the blade is inside here. There's no way I'm going to cut myself. And how I cut it is I just literally feed it through here like a big mouth, and I just slide it in, and this does the cutting for me. Super cool. It's very safe. This tool costs like $3. Super safe. So it's way better than using my knife. Super simple. And there's other tools like this. This is one that you can actually buy many times at the grocery store. Okay, same setup here. The blade is inside. You fit it through that mouth, and it's very straightforward. But this blade you can't replace, so it's basically a one-off. But I like it. You can also slip it inside the backing paper, and it just cuts the backing paper if I can't use my magnets. That's a good tool for that. Then we get to taking the adhesive off the car. You want to use what's called a scraper, right, or a card. So these are thinner than a squeegee. So if you look at the edge of the squeegee, let's say right here, this edge is like, let's say, 1/16 of an inch. This edge is like 64th, super thin and sharp. But what this does is it scrapes adhesive off the car. So if you're doing any kind of vinyl cut, even with like window tint, if it leaves any adhesive on the window, this is great for that. Super safe. Then we get to application gloves. And there's several different types of application gloves on the market. Okay, what you want is generally you want a thin fabric. So when you put the glove on right now, I'm going to slide it on. And right now it's kind of loose. So what I always do is I take my hand and I put it in between the fingers so I get a nice tight seal on my finger right there. So then I apply the film. All right. But what you can see is minimal stitching at the front, and you spray it with soap and water. Then I can apply it to, let's say, recessed areas on door handles or bumpers or license plate areas. All right. This is a very popular one. It's called a wrap glove. Okay. And what it is a little thicker than those other gloves, but it wears better, holds better. So a lot of installers actually wear this on the job, and they apply the film and have a squeegee at the same time. So different kinds, and they make it yellow, and they notice the fabrics that they use are really light. They don't use black fabric. The reason why is you want your glove to be clean. If I have a dirty glove and I start applying the film, it's going to scratch it. So the reason why they make it light fabric is if it builds up with dirt, what do I do with it is I throw it in the washing machine and I clean it. So you can wash these. Very safe. All right. This is actually a new tool. Very interesting. It just was launched in the market, I would say, about 2 weeks ago. All right. And what it is what's called a bumper pole. Really cool. If I'm working by myself and I'm trying to wrap this bumper by myself, it can be really hard because the material is kind of collapsing once I get it off and I want to round the corner. So what I do with this pole, it's super light. It's got a hook at the top, so I have a hook in my shop where I can just hang it. So what I'm going to do with the material now is if I'm wrapping, I try to want to bring it around the corner. What I can do with the material is I catch an edge here, roll it up, and then when I pick the material, it holds the material evenly. Awesome. Okay, and because it's made out of carbon fiber, it looks good, and it's super light, super smart, and it's got the plug, so if it touches the car, is it going to damage the car? No. All right, so this is like $35, $40. Super smart. It's better to pay for that than hire another person to help me wrap a bumper. Very cool. Okay, then we get into applicators. These are adhesive promoters, sort of. Okay, if I am wrapping a car with primer or rust, I want to make sure the material sticks, so I'm going to apply what's called an adhesive promoter. This is a very popular one, Primer 94. In the Wrap Institute booth, we're doing Dynoke. Okay, and Dynoke, the wrapping doors, very low surface energy. You have to use Primer 94. So this is a very good one. And you want to use a foam applicator. This is what's used to clean print heads. Okay, and this holds up to Primer 94 really well. All right. There's a company in the Netherlands and Europe that's very popular called SOTT, S-O-T-T. All right. And they have a lot of really interesting products. This one is kind of like an adhesive promoter, but what's good about it is it doesn't act like adhesive promoters actually bond to the adhesive and make that stick to the surface. But when you take the wrap off, all the adhesive stays on the surface. So that's what's hard about Primer 94. This actually is it powders, and it basically makes the material stick to the surface, but when you pull it off, it comes off with a material. Interesting. And this works really well with water-soluble paint, which has been in Europe for years, but now a lot of cars in America are water-soluble paint, which is why it works now. So again, very interesting tool to check out. So this is what you're going to use for, like say, Sprinter doors, which we have right here. So if you want to try this later, definitely come and try it out. So interesting. For me, there's a lot of tools now for tucking the material into rubber. All right, SOT has a one that they just introduced here, and this is an extremely popular one right now. This is the Avery Flex Stream. One is soft and one is hard. Okay, and what you're going to use these for is this side. Okay, if you're wrapping a car and let's say you have soft rubber around the window and you want to tuck your window perf behind the rubber, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the material about 1/8 of an inch on the other side of the rubber. Then I'm going to use this side and I'm going to pull the rubber up and away and then come back with my squeegee and tuck it behind the rubber right there. Super cool. Okay, so because it's made out of plastic, if it happens to jump off and it touches the car, am I going to screw the car? No, screw up the car. Sorry. So I'm not going to screw up the car. So if it's metal, I'm going to scratch the car. Okay. Now what this side is used for, this side, these pointy tips right here, I usually, to be honest with you, they're kind of annoying, is I'm going to cut the tips off. Okay. And what this now becomes is what's called a micro squeegee. So what I'm going to use this for is if I'm working on this bumper here and I have a tight section, once I cut this to here, I can come back with my micro squeegee and it's going to fit in really tight sections that my squeegee normally can't fit in. So I use this on corners when I'm wrapping corners, or I'm wrapping in a section here or around this section, or if I'm wrapping inside the door handle right here, I can work this in here nice and clean that my squeegee can't get. Extremely popular tool. Love the Flex Stream. All right. Now we get into marking on the car. I use a wet water-soluble pen, dry eraser, all right? Because what I want to do, let's say if I want to make, vinyl cut letters and put them on here, I can mark it on the vinyl and wipe it off. Super cool, super easy. I used to use a China marker, but now I use these and I have different colors because the vinyl and the cars are different colors, so I can see it. So I can, in the workshops, what I do is I usually show like, you're going to have problems areas here, so I can mark it on the car and wipe it off. But again, it's a very functional tool, very cheap. If I have bubbles, I'm going to use what's called an air release tool. Looks like a standard pen, but when I pop it out right here, you see this very, very sharp. All right. So again, why I do that is a lot of people pop bubbles with their blade. All right. Now, if I put my blade up in the camera here, if you can see it, you can see that the blade is super chunky and thick. And if I pop it, it's going to make a very wide hole, which is cool. The air comes out. But if I do it in a recessed area, that's going to expand over time. If I pop it with this little pen, it's a tiny little hole. The air still comes out, but then it heals back up. So it's very important to have an air release tool if you have lots of bubbles. And you generally use this with cut vinyl. Very straightforward. Now we get into magnets. Magnets are awesome. Magnets for me are one of those unsung heroes for wrapping where they hold the vinyl on the car. Right now I got a magnet holding material on the car. When I first started, all you had was masking tape. Sucked. Okay, because masking tape, you get it on and then it would kind of shift and then you'd squeegee and then the material would be crooked. Magnets are much stronger and there's different types of magnets on the market. This one's a bar magnet that has silicone so it doesn't scratch. This one's from Avery, very good magnet. Okay, and the magnets have there's 6 magnets on the inside here. Okay, then you stick it on the car and you can tell very strong. Okay, so what this is going to do, I'm going to use this to hold the panels. Like later this afternoon, we're going to wrap the whole side of this car in one sheet. And the guys, I guarantee you, are going to use magnets. So these are really nice to have. I usually have 4 or 5 pairs of magnets in my bag at all times when I'm wrapping. Super safe. Speaking of magnets, this is a really nice tool. Came out recently. The guy came up with this about 2 years ago. So if I'm working on a car or even if I'm in a sign shop, okay, oftentimes I'm using a lot of masking tape. I use masking tape here to lower the surface energy. So what I can do is I can put this in the tape right here, and then I can put it on the car. So I can just grab and go. So instead of grabbing and picking up the masking tape, this is super cool. And if it's really loose in there, you can actually pull it off that while you're on the car. And I actually even put my knifeless tape in here sometimes as well. Awesome. Okay. Now we get into little funky tools that are really good. This is something I just picked up recently. This is a company in New Jersey called Excel. They make a lot of blades and stuff like that. This is an old school trim line tool, all right? So basically what I'm going to do here is if I'm on the job and I want to create a custom stripe on this mirror, just a cool stripe, got some nice cool Avery film right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the window and the blade here, and I can adjust the width. I can make it wider or smaller based on however I want it, and I can start it, and now from here, I can pull the material up, and what I got now is I got a stripe. Pull this off, and now I can make a cool stripe on the mirror, or I can put it anywhere. Awesome. How cool is that? So again, for me, I do that on the job. Let's say I want to do like a cool stripe inside here. Because again, a lot of time, think about it. If you're wrapping a car, what's the hardest part like on this between the doors right here? Right here, this is a 90-degree drop off. It gets kind of funky. So what I might do is cut a stripe, cut it on the door, open it up, then come back with a stripe here. If I wrap it like say black satin, I can highlight this body line with a cool stripe, and every time the client opens the car, they see the outside is black satin, and then they open the door and they see a little spark of blue. Who doesn't like that? So for me, I can get cool customization with a really simple, straightforward tool. All right, so we got that. Magnets, and now we get to knifeless tape. For me, knifeless tape, if you don't know about knifeless tape, you should. Okay, knifeless tape is one of those things where what you do use knifeless tape for is when you want to cut directly on the body of the car. All right, so for me, a lot of times when I'm cutting on the car, I could take my blade and I use my blade on the side. Very safe. I'm not going to cut the car if I know what I'm doing. But if I try to cut something here, the chance of me cutting the car is high. Even though I've wrapped 3,000 cars, there's always a chance that I'll cut through. If I use knifeless tape, how it works is basically I just take knifeless tape, okay? And this is a product that's been around since 2010, right? First sold by Fellers. If I pick it up here, basically what I do is I'm going to put material over there, and all you do is you release the string, and the string comes out, and that is what does the cutting for you. Super cool. And they have lots of different products. They have Finish Line, which is kind of like their calendar version. It's kind of stiff, only likes moderate curves. They have Design Line, which is much curvier, which is cool, which a lot of guys do good tight designs on. They have Tri-Line, okay, and Tri-Line is what you can cut, make your own stripings, or you can do butt joint. Really cool stripes that has 3 strings. And now they have PPF line, okay? We're doing demonstrations, and after this demo right now, we're going to do the bumper with PPF film, Lumar, all right? And they have a pre-cut pattern that they did on a plotter. But what you can do now is use PPF line, and you don't need a plotter or a pre-cut piece anymore. You can do your own designs with this. So the string for here is a wire, and it cuts PPF film. This for me is one of the most exciting products out there, because now this enables me as an installer to do PPF without having to deal with plotters, which is why I never got into PPF, but now I will. PPF is very good. We get into sealing tapes, and this for me is also really cool. This is called Mold and Hold, product from Brazil. For me, this is they have a most popular film in Brazil is a textured film. Okay, it's called 3D matte, chateado. And what this does is it looks like black matte, but it looks like textured molding from the factory, right? So what this product was developed for was for making mirrors easier to wrap, but you can use it in a lot of different applications. So in this case, this mirror is really hard to wrap inside and out, but a lot of mirrors have textured molding right there. So what you do is you take knifeless tape, you cut the material back from the edge, and then when you're done, you come back with mold and hold. And what this is doing is holding, and it's making the mirror look good. So basically I could take mold and hold now, and I could put mold and hold right on the edge to there, and it looks like natural factory molding from the car, which makes my mirrors quicker and easier to wrap. I'm telling you, it's super easy. Fellers sells probably 800 rolls of this a month. $9 for 25 yards. Awesome. Super cool stuff, okay? This is a cool new tool. The original tool of this was 90 degrees on both sides, which meant it was kind of loose. But now we've got a custom hook at the side here, and what this does is it's called hook and hold. Holds the trunk up at a perfect 10-degree angle. So if I come back over here, okay, and I'm gonna know that I can do this because the battery's dead, is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this hook here, and I'm gonna slide it in the back here, and I'm gonna pull it up nice and hard. So it almost stays up by itself, and then I'm gonna come down here and lock it in the upper trunk right there and pull up. And now I can wrap the trunk and it doesn't move. Super easy. Then when I'm done, I just pop it open and it's good to go. And in this case, because the battery's dead, I'm going to have to pull the emergency switch and pop it out. But again, for me, what I like about it is that now, because those hinges back there are all different sizes, this one fits all different sizes. And if it becomes too wide, you simply take a pair of pliers and pinch it tight again and start again. Awesome. Okay. And it's got these safety plugs at the end. And the guy who makes this is the same guy who makes the pole. Awesome. So again, for me, super clever. He's a multi-tool guy. Very cool. All right. So then we have that. Then we got the edge sealing tape. This is 3M's edge seal tape. Clear, matte, awesome stuff. Now we get into tool belts. What are you going to do with all these tools? How do you wear them? Okay. So SOT has their own tool line. They have this one. Okay. Very straightforward. You put your tools in here. The bigger ones in the bigger pouch. Awesome. This one, if you love pink, you know, why not? Super cool. You got that. And now for me also, what I just introduced at the show, this is something that I developed with my partner from the Wrap Institute, is these wrap pants. Okay, super cool. I'll come over here. And basically what these pants are is these pockets come off. So you can put these pockets on whatever side you want, or you have a third button here that you can attach over here so you can shift your pockets. It comes with 2 pockets. But also you have knee pads, which is cool if you're doing, let's say, floors. But what I never liked about pants is that once you did put your knee pads in there, that knee wore out pretty quick or looked dirty. You look kind of sloppy. So what we developed was a knee pocket. All right. So this knee pocket is what you can do is you can take your knee pad, put it in here, flip it around, attach it to the buttons and Velcro, put the straps behind, and now your pocket gets dirty. Super cool. And then at the end of the day, I can take this pocket off and my pants are clean, which is cool. But what I can also do is, what does this become? This becomes a tool pouch. So it's multi-versatile. So again, it becomes a tool pouch here. So if I want big stuff here, like if I have a Roll Pro, I can put it in there, or magnets. So I can switch my bags. Then it also comes with the belt. So if you don't want these on your body, you can put it on a belt, and this becomes like a tool belt. Okay, so this just launched at the show. It was special free shipping right now, and they all start shipping next week. So it's called Blue Stitched. All right, so again, for me, this is not very common in the United States. In Europe, these styles of pants are common and just couldn't happen here, so I just made it my own. Cool. All right, so now we get into one of my favorite things, which is cleaners. So if you guys look down here, I'll come around the front and I'll bring these up. Is what we got is we got cleaners, and these are 2 from SOT. And again, I love these cleaners because for me, cleaning is the name of the game. All right, in America, up until now, you had to clean the car twice. You had to clean it with soap and water, then you had to clean it with a degreaser, generally isopropyl alcohol, which is cool, cheap, very straightforward, but you're cleaning the car twice, which generally takes 20 to 30 minutes to get set up. This product has been in Europe now for about 3 or 4 years. Avery Dennison came out with one surface cleaner. This is Surface Cleaner 2 by SOT. So what this is an all-in-one cleaner. It cleans and degreases at the same time. So how many times do you have to clean the car now? Once. Awesome. Okay. Extremely popular. So again, their slogan right now is Surface Cleaner 2 equals 1. You clean the car once. Awesome. So for me, definitely check this out. Is it a little more expensive than, let's say, isopropyl alcohol? Yeah, but if I'm cleaning the car once as opposed to twice, that saves time. Is that worth it? Sure. Now, a lot of times, especially those of you who are, like, let's say, in Arizona, or you're in Florida, or if you're in Texas, and it's a hot day, okay, your material can be pretty aggressive, all right? So what this is called Ride-On, okay? You can use soap and water, but soap and water doesn't evaporate very well. This is a perfect mixture, especially if you're working with material that doesn't have air egress. This is extremely popular in Germany right now. All right, so what you do is you spray the surface, okay, and you can, once you spray the surface with a nice mist, get a nice mist on there, you can apply the film over it, and it doesn't stick, but it evaporates very quickly. So even if you do a curve, it dries up really quick. Extremely popular, and the owner of SOT, Marco, is here. So if you want to check this out, I'm telling you, a lot of guys who complain, like in Vegas, when it gets to 100 degrees outside and they're trying to wrap a hood, they can't. Now you can. So really clever stuff. So definitely check that out. So one of the things that's really popular, and I wish it was more popular, was aftercare products. So once the wrap is on, how do you maintain it? Most people maintain it with soap and water, or even alcohol, but alcohol dries out the film. Not good, just like your skin. So there's different kinds of aftercare products right here. We got Avery Dennison right here. Avery Dennison has their own line. They have a power cleaner and sealant and a general cleaner. And then Croftgate has their own line as well. So Croftgate has aftercare gloss, aftercare matte, and they have a surface prep for cleaning. Very straightforward. So again, aftercare products are popular, and Oracle has one for gloss and for matte. Because again, for me, I want my wrap to look good for 3 years. If I clean it with soap and water or alcohol, it's not going to look good for 3 years. It's going to look good for a year. If you clean it with this, it's going to look good for 3 years, guaranteed. All right. And then one of the things I haven't talked about so far is a clay bar glove. This is worth its weight in gold. I can't tell you how good this is. This creates a perfect surface for a car. I used to use a clay bar, you know, and that was hard. You had to form it and stuff like this. This gets about 50 to 85 cars out of one glove, and then you switch it. It's about $34. Awesome to use. All right. Speaking of that, notice what all the tools are on right now. They're on a table. All right. This is, again, I helped Image One Impact kind of develop this table because for an installer, I want a table that rolls. It follows me around like a puppy dog. What's up? And it has a holder for my heat gun. Awesome. I can put all my tools on here. So when I'm wrapping this car, this follows me around and I have all my tools. I'm a full battle station. I got my pants, I got my table, I got everything. And if I need to cut stripes or do anything, I got a cutting table here. Awesome. Got my ruler and everything. And I love to have my heat gun up high. So I love this little bad boy here. Then what I also have is I have a pod steamer. Just did a video on this for the Wrap Institute. This will be on in a couple weeks. What's up, Keith? And I have an IR heater. Love IR heaters, especially if you're doing chrome, if you want to do removals, all that kind of stuff. And what I love about this IR heater is you can adjust the height, but you can also make it vertical or 45 degrees, whichever way you want. But this is excellent for installing chrome, for example, or removals. Awesome. Pot steamer as well. And what I also like is this kind of like tools like this. Little stools, little rolls. I mean, this one's kind of funky monkey where I just sit here, put my knees in, and I can kind of crawl around the shop and do whatever I want. But if I'm wrapping door handles, would I wrap a door handle like this or on my knees? Like on the ground? I'd much rather wrap it like this. Awesome, all right? And again, what is the car on right here? Look what's on the car. It's a car on the ground. No, the car is on race ramps, okay? And am I getting paid by race ramps to say this? No, I should, but I'm not. But my point is, race ramps are great. You want a lift, you can get a hydraulic lift, and Image One has it in their room, in their booth. What I love about the race ramps is there's no electric right now. Right now, the battery is dead in the car. So if I do anything screwy, I can't get inside the car. Not cool. If I don't have electricity or the electricity dies, I can't get that car over there off the lift. With race ramps, there's no electricity. I can move it around anywhere in my shop. No piece is more than 30 pounds. It only has 10 pieces. I can move it anywhere. Awesome. It stacks up in a little square. Super cool, all right? Because I'd much rather do a door handle here in a chair or do my bumper in a chair than on the ground. Super safe, all right? And I do this for commercial wraps or for, I mean, like full print wraps or color change. Why not? Really good, clean setup. So again, this for me, with all these tools, they all fit inside a little tool bag. Super simple, nothing super crazy, nothing super expensive. Again, these are all the tools that I use for wrapping. I can wrap walls, windows, floors, and cars with this. Very straightforward. So all the tools that I showed you are there on the table. And again, part of the Wrap Institute for WrapsCon, just so you're really aware, I have 24 rolls of film from every manufacturer, and I have paint, PPF, I have tint, all right? There's walls, hoods, anything that you guys want to wrap, grab a tool, grab some material, and practice today. Why not? That's what we have this whole setup for. So if you want to test out any of these tools, feel free to do so. That's definitely part of the game.